issue because a lot of other groups, for example, the suicide prevention, he specifically speaks to how do people who have had, for example, traumatic experience, rape, accidents, assault, not just combat veterans who come back and have mental health issues and problems. He speaks to ways to try and help people to overcome what's happened in the past, learn from it, accept it, and become better people. He is coming on the 9th of November, and I'm going to try and have him come and speak on the 8th as well, because the President has a lunch for veterans that he always holds right in accordance with Veterans Day. But I'm just very excited about this speaker. He is a well-known in the military community and has done some very, very impressive things when it comes to being able to reach out to many communities, not just veterans. And that's why I want to make sure he has the ability to speak on the Thursday night before we have the Friday lunch. But I will be coming back to you with my budget. It should stay within the budget that the Veterans Center has been granted. So he has been very gracious in us to come and speak at a shoestring budget. So we're going to have somebody that I think will be very good to speak to a wide array of people on campus. And I wanted to open up to everyone. And as I found out more information, I will come back and provide it to everyone. Okay, does anyone have any questions for me?
Any questions? Senator Landis.
What is the name of the speaker?
His name is Mike McNamara. And actually, some of you may have heard of him. His father was the coach of the 1986 Red Sox that tragically lost the World Series in 1986. And he is the first person he had as an interview on his radio station was the current chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. So he has some just amazing friends. And from a veteran standpoint, it's a wonderful speaker program. When I was talking to other people about it, they said, there are a lot of other groups on campus who would love to hear this person speak because trauma and coming back from trauma is not just a military thing. It's something that a lot of people face, not just us veterans.
Senator Thompson.
Did you mention a time, or is that still pending?
It's still pending. We're going to try and get as big of a room as we can. I just found out in the past couple of days that, yes, he will be able to come. I've sent him the kind of the requirements, and we're working up the contract to get him to come. And I'm trying to get him for as much time as his schedule will allow. I just wanted to come up and let you guys know as quickly as I could. So if you deal with, for example, counseling or medical health or mental health, I will be coming to your departments to make sure to let them know via the official means. But this is just kind of a quick way to let a broad swath of campus know that we have a really wonderful speaker coming. And if you have the ability, pencil in that date on your calendar for you, probably 7, 6:30, 6 o'clock on the 8th of November, that Thursday night.
Senator Cronk.
Once you have more information, will there be a flyer available that you might be able to send to student government so that we can share it?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'm going to, already we have lined up a co-sponsor with the non-traditional students. Is going to be co-sponsor with the Veterans Center. And we're going to try and get, for example, allied health and nursing, counseling center, new students and programs. We're trying to get as broad of a reach as we can because there are so many communities that deal with mental health, and we think that this is something that every one of us needs to be able to address, and the more help we can give to people earlier in their mental health crisis or earlier in their journey to overcoming stress and trauma, the better off the response will be.
Thank you.
Are there any further questions? Thank you so much for coming to speak to us.
Thank you for your time.
Are there any others who wish to speak for open forum? Yes, Sam.
Good afternoon, Senators. My name is Sam Steiger. I'm from the Office of Campus Recreation, and I'm here today to talk just real quick about this topic that we've been talking about for a couple years, MAVRIK Adventures. As many of you know, some of you are new to Senate, but as many of you know, we've been working to expand our offerings on campus to include outdoor adventure and equipment rental for students in our community. So the ability to go on a trip, rock climbing or paddling, to go on a bike trip, to do all kinds of different stuff, or the ability to rent equipment here on campus. Senate has talked about it for a bunch of years, and in the past few years we've been successful with continually growing and doing more and more things. And this year, Senate and the Student Allocations Committee funded a graduate assistant position in our area. for MAVRIK Adventures, as well as some pilot programming dollars to start some pilot programs. As the semester goes on, there's going to be more conversations, and at some point I'm going to reach out to the speaker to schedule a time for us to give just a brief overview in a little bit better detail so that everybody's on the same page. But I'm excited to say that our first pilot program, which is entitled Just Another Dam Bike Ride, going out to Rapidan Dam to get some pie. That's coming up, and Elliot's going to tell you all about it.
Good afternoon, Senate. Good evening. My name is Elliot Floyd. I am the current graduate assistant with the Adventure Education Program with MAVRIK Adventures. I'm excited to kick off the semester with, as Sam just said, just another dam bike ride. We do have some flyers here that we are passing around. That event is going to be happening October 5th on Friday. It's going to be divided up into 2 groups of 20 people. There are 40 slots total, 20 per slot. You can go online and register through the Department of Campus Recreation, and you can pick your time slot. If you do not have a bike or a helmet, we have 20 bikes that have been donated courtesy of the Minnesota Vikings that we have available to rent, so we can take care of that need if it arises. Additionally, it's open to students, it's open to faculty, it's open to staff. You'll also notice that in between the sprocket, which is that little circle on the paper, registration is $5, and that includes your slice of pie. Additionally, below that sprocket is a contingent rain date that we have as a backup plan. That is going to be October the 12th on a Friday as a backup plan if the thing gets rained out. I believe I've covered everything. Does anybody have any questions or clarifications that I could
Any
alleviate?
questions? Senator Thompson.
So say I don't bike very often. How hard is this route?
The route is going to be easy to moderate.
There's some hills, but we're going to be at a leisurely pace, so you can walk your bike if you need to. You might be a little sore the next day, just a little. The good burn. It's 12 miles each way, 24 miles total. Majority of it's on a bike trail, so it's a beautiful route. October 5th. Might even have some color by then.
Any further questions? Senator Kintan.
So roughly how many students do you anticipate at signed up?
I believe that it's going to fill up at 40.
What was that question again?
Or roughly people can they take?
How many people? Gotcha.
20 per session. We're going to have one kicking off at 10, one kicking off at 11, 20 and 20.
Senator Schmidt.
Can family members join as well, or is it only for staff and faculty?
At the current time, we have the registration just set for students, faculty, and staff. Anybody with a STAR ID. If you have a question about family members, maybe reach out to us and we'll consult, see how we can do it.
Senator Thompson.
Do I need to bring a helmet?
We do recommend bringing a helmet. We also are going to have some safety gear for visibility and things.
Any further questions? Elliot Floyd and Sam Steiger, thank you for
Thanks,
coming
folks.
to speak to us.
Registration form.
Is there anyone else here to speak for open forum? Seeing none, we will move on with our agenda. We are now moving into the approval of the consent agenda. Is there any dissent to approving the consent agenda? Seeing none, the agenda has been approved. Next, we will move into officer reports, starting with President Cronin.
Thank you, Speaker Pascal. Hello, everyone. So a few updates. Last week we had our first meet and confer of the year. Shout outs to Senators Chatty, Erickson, and Roebuck for attending. In the future, if anyone else wants to go, make sure that you sign up. It's a really cool opportunity. I think the 3 of them enjoyed it. Yeah. So we had our first meet and confer, as said. We talked a lot about different things that will be occurring on campus this year. some big things, including a common bell schedule that will need students to serve on a committee that we look at identifying how to maximize classroom space. Some other things include, we'll be having some search committees, so if when those pop up, if you're interested in serving on committees that you help assist in looking for different faculty and staff on campus. Of course, the 150th year celebration is coming up. I'm sure you've all heard a lot about it. Something to keep an eye out, student government will be participating in the parade. So if you all want to walk with us, make sure to let us know. I'm sure we'll do a sign up in the next few weeks, but I think that's like 3 weeks away now. It's really quick. Some other things, Students United, we had a board meeting last week. We discussed our 4 initiatives and how each campus is going to work on addressing those. One thing that's really important with Students United is we're having a gubernatorial debate, which is a governor's debate, October 19th in regards to higher education, which will be held in Minneapolis. So for those of you who are interested in attending, reach out to me. I'll be driving up because I'll have a board meeting that day. So if you're looking for a ride and you want to attend, it's a really cool opportunity to hear the potential governors talk about issues relating to college campuses. Students United is hosting it along with the 2-year colleges and the universities. So if any of you are interested in that, attending that, please let me know, because like I said, I'll be going. Last thing is committees. All of you have been assigned to a committee. If any of you are interested in serving on another one, that's totally acceptable and highly recommended. So if you know there's a second one that maybe you're interested in, or you want to learn more about the time commitment and what that would look like on top of your other 2 committees, please reach out. One committee in specific that we definitely need people to serve on is the University Conduct Board. So that is a committee that you actually have to apply for. I served on it 2 years ago. You would apply and you would be part of a committee that convenes only when needed in cases that students have issues that are brought up to the Conduct Board. That, like I said, is an application process. The application is due this Friday. There are a stack of them in the office. So if you are interested in learning more about that, or you want to apply, grab an application, fill it out, and turn it into the Student Affairs office, which is in the Wigley building. Yeah, that's it. Please answer questions.
Any questions for President Cronin? All right, see none. Thank you for your officer report. We will now move into Vice President Ogun Falami's report.
Hey everybody. So this past weekend I was at training for Students United, so I'm officially qualified to do my job. Yay to that. Again, I mentioned the last time we are taking application for those positions: legislative affairs, diversity specialist, legislative affairs, and then PR specialist. I have emailed those of you that have told me that you're interested. If anybody else is interested, please do let me know. There are 4 positions available, and they're open to anybody. I'm also going to be putting an ad in the Reporter, so you'll be seeing that this Thursday as well, so just let everybody know. Along with that, we do have the retreat coming up on Friday. Do not forget, it is from 2 to 7. We have determined the room now. The room is going to be Armstrong Hall 208. We're working with kind of what we have available to us. There is not a lot of space available to us at this time, so we're going to kind of have to make do with that room, and it's going to be a great retreat either way. So again, if you can't make it, please do let any one of us know as soon as possible, because it's an expectation of you. So if you do just not show up, there are going to be repercussions for that absence.
Any questions for Vice President Ogun Falami? Seeing none, we will move into my officer report. There has been some confusion regarding office hours, or at least some people have asked me questions, so I want to go over it again. Office hours are collected every 2 weeks, so you have to put in 6 office hours every 2 weeks. The next due date will be next Wednesday on the 19th, so you need to have 6 office hours on the office hours forms page by then. Then the following due date will be October 3rd, I believe. If you have not yet joined the office hours page, earlier today I sent an email notification out to anyone who hasn't joined it yet. I believe there's only 6 of you that haven't gone on there. So you should have a notification in your email inbox. Well, all you should have to do is click and then add yourself to the roster. So no more excuses. And yeah, have 6 of them put in by next Wednesday before we have the Senate meeting. Are there any further questions on that? Is there any confusion as to how you submit those office hours or where you're expected to do them? Anything like that? No? Excellent. Fantastic. I look forward to getting all of your submissions by next Wednesday. Otherwise, I believe that is it for me. Any questions? Seeing none, that concludes my report. And now, the highlight of the meeting, vacancy elections. So, first off, we're going to start with the election for College of Education. Do we have anyone in the room who is running for College of Education? I believe we had 2 people submit applications. 1. All right, perfect. Got somebody. Before we go into it, I just want to kind of go over what the process is going to look like for that. So we're going to start. All the candidates are going to give a 2-minute introduction for the candidates. Any who happen to be in the room, I recommend you use that time to go over the questions that you filled out on the form. All the senators should have this piece of paper, or packet of papers rather, in front of you, which has all of the answers that they gave to the form on it. You should have read this over previously when we sent it out yesterday, but if you have not, it is here for you to reference. After that 2 minutes of introduction has expired, we will then have the opportunity to open up the floor to any questions that you might have for the candidates. A couple of notes: the questions have to they have to be relating to the positions and their qualifications for it. So personal questions like what's your favorite color, what do you think about cats, are not the kind of questions that we're looking for, so keep them on topic. Also, any questions that you pose have to be posed to all candidates. So if we have 4 candidates there, you will get to ask your questions, and then each of the candidates will get a chance to answer it in turn. We will go from left to right, and then from right to left, changing it up in each question. Other things. Oh, so after you get the chance to ask your questions, and everyone has had their chance, and you close the speakers list for that, then, not the speakers list, but the questions, we will then have the candidates step outside, and we will begin debate. We'll open a speakers list, you'll get the chance to be put on there. Once we have concluded debate, we will proceed to a vote. You have the option of voting either for one of the candidates or voting no confidence if you don't like any of the candidates. After we have made our vote and we have determined if there's election or not, we will then call the candidates back in, and we will then announce the results, and they will be sworn in. Are there any questions regarding the process? Senator Landis.
Will we be doing each vacancy, that whole process of the election, and then go to the next vacancy, or are we going to hear from everyone?
Nope, that is correct. We will be doing that whole process for the College of Education, then for Social Behavioral Sciences, then for Allied Health and Nursing. Are there any other questions about how the vacancy election process is going to work? All right, seeing none. The candidate who is here to run for the College of Education, you may stand in front of the podium. Do we have a microphone over there? Is that what that is, or is that something else?
No, that's the microphone for the camera.
This is a camera. Do we have one in the room that's just is connected to audio at all? Is that one? Oh, is there one back there? If we could get that, that would be perfect. Excellent. Can you give that a test to make sure it's working?
Hello. Is it working? Hello?
Is it? Yes.
Hello?
Perfect. All right. Sounds like it's working. Okay, so I will begin the timer. Since you are the only candidate, you may start when you like. And if you start getting close to that 2-minute mark, I'll give you a little knock-knock, and then we'll move on to the questions today. So you may begin when you're ready.
Hello everyone, my name is Oscar Andrade Lara. I am a third-year student here at Minnesota State Mankato, and I am studying Spanish education. So I am here today to run for the position of Senator for the College of Education. Some of the reasons why I would like to do this is because I love working with students. It is my passion, it is what I want to do in life. I also think that I am the best fit for the position because I have worked alongside other faculty and staff within the College of Education. So my first year I was able to work as an avid tutor in the school districts, so I have that experience working with students. My second year I became secretary for the Teachers of Tomorrow program here on campus, and I am now the current president. And for the last 2 years I have been a part of a group called the Brain Trust within the College of Education as well. Basically, we identify some problems within the College of Ed and try to work things through. As a member of Teachers of Tomorrow, I have been able to take students to the Capitol and talk with politicians and professionals within the districts around the Minnesota. So some things that we've gained out of that is having a professional development summit in the Edina campus, and something that I want to see done within my position is to bring together the colleges. So those of you who might be kindergarten through secondary programs, sometimes you have that divide within the two colleges, and I just want to join them together, bring more transparency, and along with those seeking additional licensure.
Thank you. Did we have our other candidate for the College of Education come in? No? All right, that was the last chance. Okay, so are there any questions for candidate Oscar? Vice President Ogunfalami.
So you mentioned the things that you view as being an issue for the constituency, and I do see that you see that advising is an issue. What other issues do you feel that as an education student you encounter that you'd want to work on with the Senate?
Yeah, so that is mostly my biggest concern right now. However, there is issues such as students not feeling confident enough to go into the classroom to begin with, specifically with level 1 now being avid tutoring. Before it was the traditional observations in a classroom, but now it is avid tutoring. So that's a big change that has happened within the last year, and I just want to work on getting those students prepared more.
Is everyone able to hear the candidate? Okay, perfect. Are there any further questions? No? All right. In that case, Oscar, we'll have you step outside while we... Oh, that's true. You get 1 minute for closing remarks. You may begin when ready.
Like I said before, I've been working with faculty and staff within the College of Education for the last 2 years. I believe that this position has helped me improve my skills, and I think I can open up opportunities for other students within the College of Education to lead programs, lead professional development sessions, and just voice their opinions within different committees. I know that with the support of student government, I can take those initiatives that I've already started one step further. And I do believe that I am the best candidate, knowing my connections and the programming that I've done in the past. Thank you so much.
Thank you. ahead and have you step out in the hallway, and we will call you back in once we have reached a decision. I am now opening a speakers list regarding debate for the vacancy position. So again, we are determining, since we only had one candidate for this position, whether or not we wish to elect the candidate, or we can also go no confidence. Are there any who wish to speak on this topic? Oh, also, before we begin, I would like to recommend limiting debate to have each senator speak a maximum of 2 times. Does that sound good? Or if we decide that we could maybe get through in a timely manner without having that limit in this case, or for all cases, we could do it that way as well. I'll go ahead and would there be any dissent to limiting debate to twice per each speaker? No, that sounds good to everyone? All right, perfect. So you will each have the opportunity to speak a maximum of 2 times, just so you keep it concise. And we can now begin. With any question? Yeah, John.
Are you considering the candidacy of the other candidate who applied even though they did not appear here?
I would not be considering the candidate who did not show up. Yes, Senator Christensen.
I just have a clarification question.
Yes.
From here on moving out, are we including personal stories if we do know the candidates, or are we just addressing what's been spoken here in this room?
I will allow outside information as long as it is pertaining to qualifications for the position. Personal stories like, oh, I know them, they're such a great person, not so much, but if you have worked with them on an initiative in the past and you know something about their work ethic, that sort of thing, then I will allow that, but make sure that it pertains to the Senate position and not just other personal stories. Who had their placard up first? Senator Robach.
Yeah, so I liked that Oscar brought up about the level 1's Avid tutoring, because I actually am the one that he had a conversation with about how not feeling confident going into that, and so I really enjoyed that he brought that up and saw that as an issue that he would want to address, knowing that I'm a constituent of his. So that just shows a lot of drive to be a good senator and stuff, and to be working with his constituency.
Senator Erickson. Senator Thompson, sorry.
My first name almost. So I worked with Oscar all of last year. He was with me for STLF, and we had to spend an entire year planning a spring break trip, a volunteer spring break trip. If anybody doesn't know what STLF is, we go around and we volunteer in 6 different cities, and the whole time he was 1,000% dedicated to it. And that is a very, very long time span to have to be at a meeting every single week you're planning something for 40 people who you haven't even met yet. And he was very, very on top of it, and was always enthusiastic, and was not ever angry about having to do meetings, was always just ready to go. And so that really speaks to his work ethic, I believe.
Are there any other senators who wish to speak on this matter? All right, seeing none, I will then entertain a motion to close the speakers list. So moved by Senator Landis, seconded by Senator Quintan. The speakers list for this debate is now closed, and we will now move into a vote. So again, we'll be doing this on by ballot, so take out a little piece of paper if you have a notepad or something like that. And you have the option of either writing the candidate's name, Oscar, if you want to vote in favor of Oscar, or no confidence. Yes, and John, I'd like to ask you to go up on this side, you get him on that side. Oh, perfect. Once you finish writing your ballot paper, hold it above your head so John and I can come on and collect All right, there has been an election. Would someone bring Oscar back into the room? They proceed to the podium. Congratulations, you have been elected as the new senator. I will now proceed to read out the oath of office for you. Hold up your hand in right-handed oath-like fashion. I state your name.
I, Oscar Andrade Lara,
Will represent and serve the students of Minnesota State University, Mankato
the students of Minnesota State University, Mankato
in student life and academic need, and will uphold the mission,
Constitution,
and bylaws of the Minnesota State Student Association. I so affirm. Alright, you may take a seat at the table. And afterwards, if you want to talk to Mimi Cronin about how we do like office hours, basic information, that sort of thing, the senator application, not the application, but the form. Did you fill it out? Contract, yeah. Yeah. Talk to Mimi after the meeting. She'll get you caught up on all the basic information and that sort of thing. All right, so that was our first vacancy election. Do we have our candidates here for the College of Social and Behavioral Sciences? 1, 2. Please stand and proceed to the podium. And John, actually, could you write their names up on the board as they state them for our reference?
It's on their papers too, right?
Yes, that's correct. All right. So, since we have more than one candidate for this one, we are going to start from left to right, and then when we go to the questions phase, we will then proceed right to left, and then go vice versa for each other question. So go ahead, you may start with your introductions. Again, you have 2 minutes each.
Left to right, correct?
Yes, my left in this case, so your right. Yep, you go ahead and step up to the podium, use the microphone. You may begin when ready. Yes, please do start by stating your name.
Hey. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Esther Ocaro. I'm a senior here at MSU, and I am in the College of Social and Behavioral Sciences, and I do have my major in psychology. Just the introductions, or?
No, you can talk about. Sorry, I'll stop your time here for a sec. I'd recommend you expand upon the information that you gave us on the candidate form, as well as if there's anything else that you want to state about yourself, your qualifications, that sort of thing. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right, when you're ready.
Okay, so I'm interested in this position because I came in as a transfer student, and getting into the program, I was able to notice that there was not enough of research programs available for students in this college. I noticed that a lot of students who do a lot of research programs are students who are more in the psychology program, the sociology program, and also the gender and women's studies. So this was a great concern to me, to have more students in the other majors in this college have more research opportunities. I also had an issue with not having so much volunteering opportunities and also the internship opportunities. A lot of students I have been able to have quite few charts with have talked about how they have not had enough opportunities to volunteer within this program. Also, issues with textbooks. Most of the textbooks available for the reserve program, or most of the textbooks in your first year you use in that first year classes, and you do not have a lot of textbooks you could make use of as you advance into the program. Also, the advising is also a hard point I would like to touch on, because a lot of students go into these different majors within this college not really knowing what they could do with their degrees once they get out of college, not knowing what opportunities they have out there for them, and also being able to have these different majors have several opportunities where they could create platforms for students to come, present, have events on campus to give more information.
Thank you. I'll proceed to the next candidate.
I was blessed and cursed with a very loud voice, so I apologize in advance. Salutations all. My name is Alexander Prom. Yes, just like the dance. I have actually a long history of leadership. I was voted parliamentarian in the National Honor Society chapter at my high school. I was unanimously elected vice president of the student body at my high school. I even won over my competitor's vote. And the main thing I really am proud of in terms of background is I founded an anxiety and mental health awareness group in my high school. I was noticing that a lot of people were really struggling in this day and age with anxiety, depression, just all around mental illness, and our high school didn't even have a social worker. So I worked extremely closely with the principal and the school board to not only hire a social worker and to work closely with the counselor, but to also create an anxiety awareness group for anyone who would like help in managing their mental health. And in fact, we had to start a separate group because there were so many kids that wanted to and needed to join. So I feel like that has given me quite a bit of experience working with constituents and just kind of observing what people really need and or want. And I am hoping to work along the same lines with this college at the collegiate level. Thank you.
Next candidate. They start when ready.
Hello, my name is Sam Toft. I'm a third year. I'm a junior political science major. I'm interested in this position because I love student government. I've always been a part of it since freshman year. Went up to President Faisal and I asked him, how do I get involved? It's always been a part of who I am as a college student. Even President of Res Hall, J2. Even that's something that's minimal, but I wanted to get involved with it ever since I got here. One of the things I've done so far is I've been a part of multiple campaigns now. A lot of you guys might recognize me because I either ran with you or against you. Obviously, I still want this position. I'm not leaving till I get it. I've been a part of multiple committees too. I've been on the Student Grade Appeal Committee, the Student Conduct Committee, and the Student Advisory Committee, or Fee Committee, sorry. And you guys might not notice me from that when they came here last year, but work with some scheduling conflicts kind of got in the way, but I was a part of the decision making. One thing I want to change out of social behavioral sciences, especially from, it's such a big college, and she touched on it a lot. Volunteering opportunities. I know I talked about RSOs in my original thing, but just getting out there, because for our college, if you don't get out really at all, you won't get a job. Because it's really, really tough because everyone kind of has the same type of degree, and when you go into it, if you get out and push more, you won't get a job because you sat there and just focused on your education, which is perfectly fine, but it's just tough. And so there isn't that much of a push in the college for actually getting out there and doing things. There is no stress of like, hey, this will help you for your future. It's just, well, just get involved. So I think one thing I want to kind of focus on is getting that stress out there, because getting involved in college is a good thing. It's good for yourself. It's good for your resume. I know you don't want to think like that, but sometimes you got to do. And another thing I want to fix is, I know Nathan touched on this a little bit last year, OERs. Right now there's a couple things where I have 4 textbooks right now that I had to buy because the professor told me to. I'm not using any of them because every note is from him and there's no reason for me to spend that much money on a textbook. So thank you very much. And that's it.
Thank you. And if you could, I think you're in the same order as you were initially, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, fantastic. Stick to that for simplicity's sake. Okay, are there any questions which senators wish to pose? And again, they have to be posed to all candidates, not just the one. Senator Roebuck.
Yeah, so are there any committees you're interested in joining?
And to answer that question, we'll proceed from now right to left. So Sam, you will be the first one.
I want to be a part of any committee that I can help this college. I know it's really open, but that's ever since I got here, it was what can I do to help. So whatever there's a need, I'll try to do it, and that will be for the rest of my time here. Always be like that. So.
I am extremely interested in diversity culture, committee, and definitely ethics.
I am interested in the Student Health Services Cost Committee because that is one which is really important to me also, so I would like to serve in that committee.
Thank you. Are there any other senators who wish to ask a question? Senator Cronk.
What do you think makes you stand out as a unique candidate?
Right, now we'll proceed from left to right.
I do have leadership experience within the program, working as a teacher assistant, working with graduate students to teach introductory to psychology classes. So I feel having this great step is one which I feel would be.
Sorry, would you mind speaking into the microphone?
Okay, sure. Okay, so I said I do believe I am a good fit for this position because
You gotta hold it close. Sorry.
So I do believe I'm a good fit for this position because I do have my leadership experience as working as a TA with some of the graduate students within the psychology program. And I also am an ambassador here on campus, being able to be one of the first contacts here on campus, which students get to meet, get a lot of the college experience that puts me as a great fit.
I thankfully have a loud voice, so I don't want to burst your eardrums. I feel as though I stand out because I am not afraid to keep going at it. I have a lot of persistence. It took me over a year to found the anxiety group, and the principal, thankfully we are close friends now, but he got a bit angry with me because I kept emailing him about every week over the summer. So I am not going to stop until I feel something gets done.
For me, I feel like I'm able to push outside my comfort zone very, very well. And I don't even need to be in this college. If anyone needs any help, I want to be there. That's the type of person I want to be as a senator, as someone who can, if you need a hand, I want to be there. So I think I will go tooth and nail for you guys, and that's the reason why I think that's a difference.
I was unable to see what order people raised their placards in, but I will start with Senator Ramsey.
So, as a senator, it's really easy to skate by under the radar if you try. Is there any specific projects personally as a senator you want to uphold, not a specific committee, but something just you as a senator want to do?
And again, starting with candidate Todd.
Something specific, you said?
Yes, not like a committee, like a personal project.
Personal project. All right. One thing I want to try to do. This isn't really me as a senator. This is me as a student, because I don't live on campus. I'm sure a lot of us here don't, and there is almost zero outreach. And that's always a struggle. I know it is, but I want to try to fix it. I knew the new Engage program that we have, the new website, will work wonders once it gets up and running, because obviously beginning of the year, new site, not going to do perfect right away. I think that'll help a lot, but I still want to kind of push that, whether it's between RSOs and this student government. It's not MSSA anymore, but I think I want to try to bridge that connection, because getting involved is so important, even for yourself, because not a lot of people sit there and go, how am I doing? It's always, I got this project, I got to do this, I got that. It's never, how am I doing? And that's super important, especially in this day and age, what time we're at in our lives, because anxiety, stress, we all know it's through the roof. And that's an issue that, it's kind of like a multiple issues into one, but I think it can help multiple. That's the beauty about it, is I think it can help multiple issues. So that's kind of, I still need to work on it, obviously, because I don't have all the resources with me, but that would, definitely a step where I want to go.
I am unsure of a specific project, but I want to work closely with the diversity committee and the international students to better, it's super hard to go into a different culture entirely. So I just want to make them a bit more comfortable with getting involved, or with just feeling at home.
Okay, so I would personally like to work on several projects. Firstly, helping a lot of students on campus get to realization where we have to understand. As a college student, you go through a lot of stress, anxiety, and a lot of issues. Just basically providing more resources, working with the counseling center, working with the health education office to provide more resources for students. That would be one of the projects.
Next is Vice President Ogun Palami.
So with this position, you are expected to serve on 2 committees, and you had mentioned that you guys are ready to create that time commitment, but I want to hear a little bit more about what that means. So what are things that you're currently involved in, as well as what are your time commitments, other than that, things that you're involved in as well as your time commitments?
Starting with candidate Okura.
So basically, I'm involved in student ambassadors here on campus. I'm also involved in the honors program within my program, and I am also involved in working with the American Red Cross as a recruiter and a screener. So being able to give my time to this different project, I believe I could give more time into this, like having more devotion and more time to sit here, listen to all the important information we have to get, and also basically decide on a lot of decisions that have to be made for this person.
I am in History Club and United Nations / International Relations Club, which pretty much means I can't do Tuesdays, but I can do everything else.
That's good.
I have been currently volunteering with the DFL, so that's not really on this this campus, but something for me personally that it would help me out in the future, which is, you can't blame me for doing that. But as of right now, this would be my only time commitment. I quit my job because I absolutely hated working at Cub Foods. So this is it. It would be my 4 to 6 every Wednesday. Whenever committee is needed there, I would be there.
Thank you. Next, Senator Akintan.
So, my question is what's your biggest weakness or your biggest strength, and how is that going to help you be successfully in your position?
Did you hear that question?
Did you hear that, or you want me to hear it? You got it?
All right, perfect. Senator, candidate top, you may begin.
Biggest weakness, man, that's put me on the spot. Biggest strength, I would say, is I'm able to communicate with a lot of people. If you know me, I won't shut up half the time. Whether I'm nervous or I'm not, I will still be this talkative. This is kind of how I am, and some people like it, some people get so annoyed with me. You can just ask my brother. But weakness, probably could say I'm too talkative. I don't really shut up, but also my lack of information that actually goes on in the student government. And that's something that, numbers-wise, I just don't know. And I think if I got in, I'd be able to erase that weakness pretty well because I would be involved more and I would know more information. But as of right now, with some of the questions what do I want to do? It's you want to do some things, but sometimes you can't do it because of financial reasons or other reasons. And so once I think I know that, I could do a better understanding of what can actually be done and what can't be done.
My biggest strength is probably that persistence piece again. And then my biggest weakness is, although I know a lot about campus and a lot about University of Minnesota Mankato, I am still just a freshman. So I don't have a ton of experience, but that's what I'm hoping I can remedy if I'm elected.
Okay, so my weakness would be that I do not get a lot of information about a lot of things that are going on, and my strengths are my communication skills and also being able to know how to reach out to people and move out there to get a lot of resources going to help in any way possible. Yeah.
Are there any further questions? Seeing none, candidates, you may proceed into Oh, I will remember this. 1 minute closing remarks. We'll start with candidate Okoro.
I believe I would be a great fit for this position due to the leadership experiences I have had and also being able to be dedicated to giving my possible best at being a senator in this college.
Okay. I have quite a bit of heritage here. My mother went here, both grandparents went here, my aunt went here, my great-grandmother helped found the college, for Pete's sake. So I've heard a lot of stories about Minnesota State Mankato, or Mankato State as it used to be known. And I just kept hearing, oh, it is such an amazing school. It is the best institution in the country. And just, you need to at least go there to tour it, at least. And I ended up touring the college 3 different times. But from the very first step that I took here, I knew that I was home. I want to continue on that legacy and make sure that the students we have here today will go home and tell their future children as amazing stories about this place as my parents told me.
For me, my closing statement would be I want to be in this because what we do here in this room is not just for self-inflation. It's good for everyone in the college. And that's something that you don't see a lot in life, where you have a group of people who's not working for themselves, you're working for others. And I want to be a part of that. Helping people is one thing I've always wanted to do. And this would be, for me, a start at least to making my goal of actually trying to help. Because in this world, you don't see people who help each other at all. It's usually greed, lust and stuff like that. All those sins. But, this is a place where we can do some good. And that's damn perfect. So, thank you.
Thank you, candidates. Right, now you may proceed into the hallway, and we will call you back in once we have reached our decision. I am now opening a speakers list to debate this election. Are there any senators who wish to be added to the speakers list? President Cronin.
Okay, so I think that they were all really dedicated candidates, but the person who stuck out to me the most was Esther because of her description and answer regarding the biggest issue facing the constituency. This is an election for the Senator of College of Social Behavioral Sciences, and when she touches on research for students, that's a very true topic. I currently am a psychology and gender women's studies student, and most students in the SBS college do anticipate going to grad school, and something you need on your resume would be research, and it can be very difficult to find that with a professor, as well as typically the research teams fill up quickly. So her initiatives of helping students find research as well as creating more for the students in that college is really important to me, as well as I think a lot of constituents would agree that that is something that would be great to have someone at this table focusing on and advocating for them.
Senator Robach.
The candidate that really stood out for me was also Esther. She was very focused on the major, and that's what I liked. She was just very in tune with what issues are in the major. Of course, the one that you brought up, but just a couple of other ones, and which was interesting to hear. And then she had a lot of experience in her major at TA, working with, I can't remember them all, but I know they're in here, so, and that she talked about them. And then she brought in a lot of issues that were going on. It's clear that she is very involved and notices what's going on in her college, which is nice. And I also liked that she was the only one that started with the weakness and ended with the strength, and that always just kind of shows that someone is very in tune with, first of all, word choice and word order, but also starting with the weakness just kind of shows that yes, this is my weakness, but here's one of my strengths, and here's how I can use that in this position. Whereas if it's the other way, it just sounds a little different. So.
Vice President Ogun Falami.
I think all the candidates did really well with the content and what they want to work on and where they're coming from. I do think that Esther stood out the most to me personally, just because even looking at her before I saw her application in my eyes was the most complete. One thing that I like to pay attention to is how they're answering this, because this is kind of what the application process was. And so with Alex and Sam's application, the part about time commitment was just definitely, of course I have the time. And it's kind of well, on a regular application, you would kind of provide more information with that. So that's one thing I wanted to see more. And also, when Alex talks in this application about what he wants to serve and do in his position, he just has one line. And I feel like this is your chance to represent as to why you want to speak for the student body. So in my head, I want to see more than that. So that before even seeing them, Esther stood out more to me. But then upon seeing her, she did have many great points. I also do work with Esther in the admissions office, and I'm new to the admissions office, so she's a person that they always tell me to go to for questions. So there's so few that work in the office, and they're always like, oh, go ask Esther. So even based off of what I see from where I work in admissions, she seems like the most qualified among them in the office that is student workers. So I feel that she would do a great job as well within this position.
Senator Akintan.
I use redundancy and cost question.
And we have a call to questions. This is something that you would do if you want to basically close the speakers list and then move directly to a vote. This is a motion that requires a second. Second. Seconded by Vice President Ogun Falami. We will now proceed to vote. This requires a 2/3 majority to pass. So all in favor of calling the previous question, which would end debate and move us to a vote. Raise your placards. Keep them held high for a bit while I count. All opposed? Abstentions? We have achieved the 2/3 majority, and we will now move into a vote. All right, so we have the names of the candidates written on the board behind you for reference. You will write the name of the candidate that you wish to vote for on your ballot, and John and I will again come around and collect them. So write them down and hold them over your head like so. Everyone had a chance to submit their ballot.
Okay, folks, we just need to get a vote. We just need to get a count for the number of voters real quick. So I'm going to start here with number 1. I'm going to call you 2, and then we can go the rest of the way around the table for those who tell you 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. We've got to count you if you're an abstention. 16. 18, 19.
16, 17.
This is a proxy.
Yep, proxies are counted.
It counts as an abstention. Well, then I'm 17. I'm sorry to confuse you.
Okay, 19. 20, 21, 22.
Okay, 23.
We got more. No, they didn't because I was 11. Yeah, we do. But it was still in because I was 10. Everybody.
call in the candidates. And that's Thank you, candidates, for coming here today. We all appreciate your applications. We have had an election, and congratulations to Esther Ocaro. You are You may approach the podium and then hold up your right hand in oath-like fashion. I state your name.
I, Esther Chisom-Ocaro,
will represent and serve
the
students of Minnesota State University Mankato
in
student life and academic need, and will uphold the mission, Constitution, and bylaws of the student government. I so affirm. Congratulations. You may take a seat at the table. We will now proceed to the vacancy election for College of Allied Health and Nursing. Perfect. Everyone go Thank you for coming today. All right, so we will proceed with the candidate on my left and then go through. Again, you have 2 minutes for your introduction. Yes, and please start by stating your name. And when ready.
Hi, I'm Christopher Lukaku and I'm a transfer student. This is my first semester from Texas. And I'm going for the nursing program and I'm going for the position for the Senate of Nursing College of Allied and
Could you hold the microphone? You got to get it really close for it to work.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes. Yeah, you're good.
Okay. I'm Christopher Lukaku. I'm a transfer student. This is my first semester here in MSU. And I'm going for the position of Senate in the College of Allied Health. I'm interested because I want to have a voice and be able to serve the department. And also because of before coming to the school, I heard about the low acceptance rate, but I still came. But I came from a 2-year college, and coming here I expected more high acceptance rates. But the acceptance rate is just 40 out of 100 students applicants. So I'm like, I'm trying to see if I could help change the policy, and because there are a lot of students willing to go into the program and they end up transferring to other schools for the opportunity. So I'm here to say that, to represent the college and the nursing program, represent students and be a voice for them and bring up the problem. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Can I not use the mic?
Can I use the mic, or if you think you can speak loudly enough, that works too.
Okay, hello everyone. Okay, so my name is Annabelle Sampson, and I am a community health major, and I'm running for College of Allied Health and Nursing Senator. So I am running because I came here as a transfer student with the hope of coming into the nursing program, but when I got here, I realized there were so many like hidden requirements. I also realized that with the advising, there was kind of like a question mark because as a student, when you go for advising, you expect that your advisor tells you something to encourage you. But then I went, and with my GPA, she told me for the nursing program, it might be a little low, but for other programs, I would be like one of the best students. And she was giving, my advice was actually giving me options for other schools I can transfer to. So that's one thing. And another thing is with how diverse the School of Nursing is. Not only is the College of Allied Health and Nursing related to School of Nursing, but then that's the main thing I want to talk about, because this school boasts of diversity, but then when you look into the School of Nursing, it lacks in diversity. There are just a few people they accept. So I plan on, if I get elected, I plan on tackling that issue. I don't really know what goes into picking candidates for the School of Nursing, and I don't really know the policies, but then it's just my hope and my plan that if I get elected, I'm able to sit and talk with the faculty and know what goes into it, and then propose my plan and then give them suggestions for what I think. Also personally, like, okay, so as a student, when you come here and you're talking to other people and you say your major is nursing, people look at you and ask, will you transfer? Or are you going to change your major? Or are you only taking prerequisites? And that, I don't think that is a good image for our school and the School of Nursing in particular. So those are just a few things I wish to address when I am elected.
Hi everyone, my name is Leanna Moy, and I'm a senior in the dietetics program here at MSU Mankato. And you're probably wondering, why is she just now running as a senior? This is the first chance in all 4 years that I have not had a Wednesday night class. I found out 10 days prior to school starting that my Wednesday night class is now an online class, and so here I am, last chance. Throughout my entire experience here at MSU Mankato, I have wanted to be a leader and been involved in leadership. My freshman year, I ran as floor president and won, and I served and planned multiple events on my floor, and then I was a community advisor for 2 years in Prescott on a co-ed floor, which taught me a lot. Following that, this year I got elected as the president of the Student Dietetic and Nutrition Organization, so I'll be serving as the president on that board as well. And I've always wanted to be a senator, but like I said, Wednesday night class dietetics program has not been working out, but here it goes. Throughout my experience here at MSU Mankato, I've noticed a couple of problems within the College of Allied Health and Nursing, similar to the other candidates saying about the nursing program. The dietetics program, you probably don't even know what it is. There's 15 of us graduating from it this year. There was not only 15 people in it freshman year. So I want to look into why we have such a low dropping rate. Why is there only 15 people graduating with a dietetics degree? And that's fall semester, so it may go down by the spring. And so I want to look into that as well as diversifying that. It is primarily girls. There's 13 girls and 2 males in the program currently. So I also want to look at that diversity and why is that occurring. So that's all I have for you.
Alright, hi everyone, my name is Natalie. I am a 5th year student here at Minnesota State University Mankato, majoring in Recreation Parks and Leisure Services with a double emphasis in therapeutic recreation and leisure planning and management. And then I also have a minor in psychology and a minor in nonprofit leadership. I'm running for the position of Allied Health and Nursing. I feel like many people know Allied Health is nursing strictly as nursing, and it is more than just nursing. There are problems within the nursing department, but Allied Health and Nursing is more than just nursing. For instance, I am a Recreation Parks and Leisure Services. She is a dietary major. And so I feel like those are not represented as well as the nursing program in the Allied Health and Nursing field. Another thing is that the major, many students in my major did not discover it until their sophomore or junior year, which is very upsetting. I want to somehow be an advocate and voice the concern of how Recreation Parks and Leisure Services can get out there more. I mean, we have MAVRIK Adventures, which is a huge, great idea for outdoor recreation, and I want to expand on that more. When I first visited this campus, I knew I wanted to spend my time here. I am also a legacy. Both my parents went here, so I am really dedicated to the school. In 2015, I was actually a homecoming competition coordinator, so I ran all of homecoming competition stuff, and that got me to know a lot of the university. I know many of faculty, not just in my major, but also at the university. And then currently I am holding the position as co-coordinator of Rec Club, so I am one of the co-presidents and I run that. Thank you.
Thank you. So we will now begin with questions. Are there any questions for the candidates? President Cronin, and we'll start with candidate Garton and then proceed in like fashion.
So some of you might have mentioned this in your opening, but this seat vacancy is open because no one ran for it last spring. So what might have been the reason you weren't able to run for it, or that you weren't interested or now interested?
Okay, so I always wanted to run for Senate, and I was never aware of when the elections were. I knew that they held the bodies now, and I never was able to get into those. I was never informed of them, and then by the time I was informed of them, it was already election time, and so when I saw this pop up, I was like, this is my chance, and so I thought this was a great idea for me to come and voice my concern for students in the major and around the university.
So I apologize for the redundancy, but like I said, I have been following Senate since I began my journey here. I had a Wednesday night class and it conflicted. It was from 5 to 8 p.m. and so it ran the majority of Senate time. And because I wasn't able to make that commitment, I wasn't able to run. And then when that handy email came about 2 weeks before school started that my class was an online class, I decided that I could run.
Okay, so I didn't really see when it was open. I always wanted to run for Senate, but then honestly I was afraid. So I actually missed this one, but I really wanted to apply, but then I missed it. So when I saw there was an opening, I decided to face my fears and apply.
As I said, this is my first semester here, and in my school in Texas, I was involved. I wasn't a member, but I was always present, and I was also involved in student activities. So when I heard about the opening, I decided to apply.
Senator Ramsey.
I'm going to pose the same question I did to the last group of people. What are specific things you want to work on as an individual within the school?
We'll start with candidate Okafor.
Being an international student, I want to bring more diversity and more diversity to the Senate, and also include more inclusion to the Senate too. That's my main gain, since that's what I've always been doing. Thank you.
I would say to create a system that will make people more aware of some of the resources, not like school resources like the library and other things, but like textbook reserve, enterprise car shares, certain things like that, because I feel like most people don't really know about it. Also, as an international student, sometimes I know things happen, and as an international student, you're supposed to prove that you can pay for your tuition and fees and all that. So I believe that if there's some kind of fund available for international students who run into problems during their time here, that's one thing I want to tackle, like with international students and funds in case of emergency.
Okay, so a popular problem in the College of Allied Health and Nursing is the printing. And if you know a science major or you're friends with science majors, you know that there's a lot of printing involved. And I can speak to it as I'm already down to $9 and it's the third week of school, so I'm in trouble. Something that I've always found challenging is finding people that can print for me with their math print. Because if you aren't familiar, you pay for that $20 in math print. It is not free. And so I've always thought it would be a good idea to have an exchange system or a transfer system, because my friends that don't use their printing money have given me their logins or printed for me, but it would be a lot more convenient if they could transfer me that money so I could put it to good use and use it for my academics. So I specifically would like to work on getting people to know all of the resources on campus. They may know about the resources, but they don't know how to access them. Like, for instance, I knew that we had a counseling program, but I never knew how to access it, or the writing center down in the library, never knew how to access that. I also want to work on diversity. We do have a very diverse school. I come from also a very diverse school in high school. It's one of my passions. I love working with other people with therapeutic recreation. I specifically want to work with children and adolescents with disabilities, one of those diverse groups, and I think it would just be a great idea for us to all get those things together.
Senator Roebuck.
Yes, that's okay. So I don't know if this is. I think it's different than Senator Amsey's, but you all talked about specifics, specifically to your major, some different things. So what is something like an initiative that you would have for the College of Allied Health and Nursing as a whole, if that makes sense? So we all kind of hit on like your majors. I just want to hear what you would do for the whole college.
All right, so to hit all of the majors in the college, like I said, most of the students here do come for nursing, and many of them do transfer because they don't get into the program because the program is very strict, or they find another major. Some of those majors could be recreation, parks and leisure services, or dietary. So those majors aren't as well known, obviously, as nursing, and I think if we were to broaden those out, it wouldn't be specifically nursing, where nursing is, it's literally named allied health and nursing. Why can't nursing just be considered into allied health? That's one thing to think about, because it is considered health.
All right, so in many of the science majors, going to school is not enough. You have to volunteer, you have to be an intern, you have to be someone's aide throughout your entire college education. Otherwise, applicants that are applying for the same job as you, you're not as good of an applicant. As an international student, you can't work off campus. And so in allied health and nursing, I believe that we need to add resources so that our international students have the same fighting chance for these jobs and get those experiences on campus and in ways that they can, so that they have just the same amount of chance as our students that can work off campus.
Yeah, so I would say that also maybe during info sessions or open houses, you can also talk to like incoming students about the other options in the College of Allied Health and Nursing, like throw more highlights on other majors they can go into apart from nursing, because personally, I didn't even know community health existed until I didn't apply onto the nursing program, because I knew there was no chance of me getting in. And the other thing is to also make something available for students, especially international students, because right now they are saying to apply you need to have CNA experience. As an international student, you cannot work off campus. So if that is in place for international students to work off campus to get the experience they need to apply to the nursing program, that would also be helpful.
As I said, it's about the inclusion of other departments in the allied health. But coming here, I only knew about nursing. I didn't when I searched the website, I didn't see much about other options for me. Only nursing. So until I came for the advice and they told me about other options. So I'm like, I want to be open. I want to open it up for other departments too, for other students to be able to apply to. For other students to be able to know about the other programs in the nursing department too.
Senator Quintan.
Right. So my question, you might have heard it before in the debate, but my question is, what's your biggest strength and what's your biggest weakness, and how is that going to actually help you be successful or not successful in your role?
We'll start with candidate Okafor.
I would say my greatest weakness is lack of experience. I'm not experienced in this. This is my first time, and in leadership experience, I'm mostly into volunteering work. I'm not into leadership, so that would be my weakness, and that's why I'm applying to get more experience in my leadership experience. And my weakness would be patience. I have a lot of patience, so I believe I would be able to have a lot of patience with the policy and try to fix it in any way I can. Thank you.
My biggest weakness will be public speaking. I believe there's more room for me to improve that. And my greatest strengths will be the ability to come up with great ideas and to organize events, programs.
I would have to say my greatest weakness would be asking for help. That moment of saying, I need help. I need someone to jump on board with me. And that being said, my greatest weakness is time management. I've worked for the American Lung Association in Minnesota for 2 years now, and the office is in St. Paul, which is not close to Mankato. So I work from home, and oftentimes I'll receive emails at 8 or 9 in the morning that, hey, we need this project done. Also, could you have it done by 5 p.m.? Well, I have 4 hours of class, and it's a 9-hour project, so that's good. So I guess we'll just fit this in real quick. And so doing 2 years of that, hey, we need you to get this done. We know you're a student, but we still need you to get this done, has taught me a lot about time management and working things out and getting things done even when the going gets rough.
I'd say one of my biggest weaknesses is giving other tasks to individuals. I have a really hard time with that. As co-coordinator in my rec club, sometimes I feel that it's just easier for me to do it myself versus handing it off to another person. Also, I feel like my perfectionism can be a weakness, but it also is one of my strengths. Because I am so organized, I can get things done very nice and done in a timely and efficient manner, but also it may not be done to my perfection, but it may be done to the perfection of another individual.
Are there any further questions? Senator Quintan.
One last question, sorry. So you guys are all great candidates. Personally, that's my belief. You guys are all great candidates. But let's say you were like only one person's gonna get chosen. So what, like how do you plan on still getting involved with like student government if you were not to get elected today?
All right, so if I was not to get elected today, I'm still going to be a part of MAVRIK Adventures and hopefully be able to deal with those piloted programs and bring those to you guys as a Senate and get your ideas on them or your effort to help publicize those to the other students.
So if I don't get elected today, I'd still like to be part of the Student Health Advisory Board because as a dietetic student, I'm a little bit biased, but I think that health matters a lot. And then my other thing that I would help out now that I have my Wednesday nights free is I still want to work on that printing transfer sharing. Even if I'm not a senator, I'd still like to work on that project.
I plan on joining a committee if I am not elected. So that's how I'll be part of student government if I'm not elected.
If I'm not elected, I plan on always coming by because I saw people coming in, so I'll always come by. And also, I'm also going for the ambassador, student ambassador, so that's how I'll get involved too.
Are there any further questions for the candidates? Seeing none, is there any dissent to closing the speakers list? Okay, the speakers list is now closed. Candidates, you will now each get 1 minute for closing statements. Did we start on the right for that last question? Was it the last?
So you did.
All right, so candidate Okafor, you will be first for closing statements.
I believe I'm a good candidate, and if I'm elected, I'll love to put in my own input and make sure that everything I said will be able to pass in the in the right faculty ways where the problem needs to be solved.
I believe no one will treat some of the issues I talked about, especially the diversity and all the other things I spoke about with the College of Allied Health and Nursing, than someone who has experienced it firsthand and someone who has heard and seen so many other experiences with the issues I talked about. So that's all I'll say.
I believe that with my work ethic, my experiences, my leadership experience, and my desire to be on Senate for all these years makes me a good fit for the position, and I'm excited, if elected, to work with you all.
I think I'm a great candidate for this position, as I am a 5th year and I do know a lot about the College of Allied Health and Nursing. I do want to address those issues like diversity or getting other students involved. Like I said, I do know a lot of people on campus, and I think getting those connections is very helpful.
Thank you, candidates. You may now proceed into the hallway while we begin debate. Speakers list for this issue is now open. Are there any senators who wish to speak on this topic? I have 4 senators on the list. We will begin with Senator Thompson.
Okay, so Natalie, I thought they were all really good, and I think we would be lucky to sit next to any of them. And but Natalie, I thought it was cool because today I had my first MAVRIK Adventures meeting, and she showed up to that without even being on Senate at all, and so it just shows that she has an initiative, that she really wants to be part of this, that she came to the first meeting that wasn't even advertised that well, if we're being completely honest. And also the fact that she brought up the other majors without being prompted about any of that, like after someone had asked about the other major or the other problems in the college, then they all had an opinion about it, but she was the only one who prior to being prompted actually had an opinion about all of the majors rather than just what they are what they're in their specific major. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Next, Senator Cronk.
Okay, again, I would like to say that we have really good candidates. All 4 of them are awesome. 2 of them specifically really stuck out to me, and that was Annabelle and Leanna. If you look again at their actual responses on here, they have the most in-depth, and I read these ahead of time, and they stood out to me already before I saw them today, but even more so now. With Annabelle, she's very dedicated to helping with the issues within nursing. And these are ongoing issues that I've been hearing about before. And she noted that she would join a committee if she's not elected. Speaking on Leanna, she's always wanted to be involved in student government. So that says a lot that she has been following student government for the past 4 years, and she just hadn't had the opportunity to be involved because of classes. One thing that I really liked that she talked about was the printing money. As a grad student, I go through printing just as fast. I have like $11 left, and again, it's the 3rd week of school. And I reach out to my friends to get their printing money. So, I mean, even if she's not elected, that's something that I want to work with her on, and I think that's huge. And both her and Annabelle also spoke on more options for volunteering and internships for international students within that college as well, since they are not allowed to work off campus. And I think that's really important that they are allowed those opportunities. Thank you.
Senator Ramsey.
All right, once again, good candidates. I'm going to agree with Senator Kronka on that. Annabelle and Leanna were probably the two strongest I saw as well. I'm going to throw my support fully for Leanna though. A little bit of personal experience. I lived on the same floor as her as a freshman. Very much an Energizer Bunny sort of individual, very quick to get involved. I was not as involved with a lot of stuff on campus at that point in my life, so she was just always kind of off doing somewhere, event, trying to do something somewhere. I think she seemed very confident in all of her answers. I think she seemed very prepared. I like that she had a project with the printing thing. I don't personally have that problem because I have it's student support services, so I get free printing, but sorry for everyone else. And she was also aware of some of the bigger issues facing the entire college, not just her own. I did like her bringing up that volunteering for international students and internships. That's not something I had ever really thought of super in depth, but that is a big issue. Annabelle also brought that up as well. And she's always wanted to be involved in this as well. That's something she brought up, or Senator Croft brought up, and that the moment she has the opportunity, which she found 10 days ago, that she's on top of it. So I think she'd be a great candidate. I think she'd be a great addition to our Senate. Thank you.
Senator O'Reilly.
Yeah, I'm talking about Annabelle. I like the point that she brought up of diversity. I'm not too into allied health and nursing, but because of some of the friends I've had, like they're international, they've always had issues like transferring away from the college because there's some kind of like race issue in there. So I just like the fact that Annabelle didn't choose to just like disappear from the school, but instead joined the Senate to come and talk about it, diversity, and I just like that she brought that point up, and I think she's a strong candidate.
Senator Roba.
So I just have one thing, something that really stood out to me, because, well, a little background, because last year, like anytime that I would proxy, and I would hear from the College of Allied Health and Nursing senators, they talked about wanting to like research the lack of diversity in the nursing program and just in the College of Allied Health and Nursing in general. And I heard a lot about like we're researching this. I didn't really hear a lot about like what they found or like some possibilities of why. And so I really liked that Leanna brought up a possibility on why with the international students not getting as many opportunities. And so that just was like a wow, okay, that's not just saying like, oh, there's lack of diversity, we should do something about that. Hey, this might be a reason why. And I just really liked that she actually brought that up and came with a possibility that she can look into. So,
Senator Christensen.
Alrighty, I really want to emphasize the fact that Natalie was the only one that spoke about the college as a whole and not specifically nursing. The college is very broad. I think that's a super valid point that we all need to remember. She also did bring up diversity right away. So it wasn't only Annabelle that brought up diversity, but Natalie also did. My freshman year, I was on her floor. She showed me around. She was a year older, super confident, knew the resources, knew all that, and was super humble as well. So I have that I can go off from. Clearly very confident. She knew exactly the answer. She was very straightforward. So I enjoyed that. I think that she's clearly better than other candidates because of those reasons that I just listed off. But once again, that she talked about the whole college. We really need to focus on that, not just nursing. So.
Senator Owusu.
I just wanted to stress the diversity point that you mentioned, just because I too have heard that. I'm not in that college. I have no interest in that college, but I just want to stress it, that apparently it is a problem, and I've heard it since my freshman year, and this is my third year now, so just saying.
Senator Quintan.
Yeah, I mean, to kind of go off what everybody said, diversity is, like, to me personally, from having friends in the nursing school and things like that, just in the college in general, Leanna mentioned, like, specific to her degree. I can't remember what it's called. Something like that. But, so with that, I mean, she also, like, something that stood out to me when she was talking about diversity was she doesn't focus on plain on white, black. She focused on gender as well. She talked about numbers of, like, in her major show, they had 15 people, 15 girls and 2 guys. So I feel like that's something, like, when you also think about, like, diversity, like, that's something you also have to, like, keep in mind. It's not just about plain or black, white. It's everything, like, every aspect of diversity into it. So I feel like Leanna did a good job for me because she spoke on that topic as well. Annabelle, one thing Annabelle spoke on that really touched me was she mentioned the certification they had to like have in order to be able to apply for the program. I wasn't even aware of that. I don't think that's fair if you're not able to like get that certification. Like how do they expect you to get into the program? And so I feel like even as me sitting in this like chair right now, I feel like that's something I'm definitely gonna look into it and be like, okay, just as senators, I feel like we are trying to make changes. So I feel like that's something like we should all definitely look into because it's not fair for an international student to not be able to get into the program because of the resource that's not available to them. So, yeah.
Senator Erickson.
Okay, I'm sorry if this is redundant. I didn't know what Senator Christensen was going to say before I put my plaque card up, but my 2 favorite candidates would have to be Annabelle and Natalie. And again, if we were just to go off of this, Natalie is the only candidate that talked about other colleges. Like, as being a senator for College Valley Health and Nursing, we had our first advisory board committee meeting this morning. There's so many more, especially undergraduate programs besides nursing. And I understand that there's could be a lack of transparency in the nursing program, and we should definitely work on that. But there's so many other programs that we need to focus on as a whole and not just nursing. And she's the only one, again, without being prompted, that spoke as the college as a whole, like the college as a whole. And we are a lot of programs.
President Cronin.
I'd like to talk about Leanna. She did talk about other programs besides nursing. She talked about dietetics, and she also talked about printing in regards to all allied health and nursing majors. So that right there, she did talk about something besides nursing. And I don't think it's fair that we're not recognizing the fact that people talk about nursing. At any given moment, there's 500 pre-nursing students on campus. So I think it's important that we discuss a large majority of what the college is. And then back to the point, Leanna does talk about the other issues facing all allied health and nursing majors, and echoing what Senator Roebuck said, actually came with an idea of why there might be an issue that faces diverse pre-nursing students, which I enjoyed because similarly the diversity issue in nursing has been talked about for years, but I have never seen any concrete issues brought up to why they could have been that way, so I enjoyed hearing that from candidate Leanna Field.
Senator Okoro, is that a placard that you, or is it? Okay, just wanted to verify. Senator Lara.
Hello, everyone. So, I just wanted to reiterate that Leanna did focus on more than just nursing. She did talk about dietetics, like President Cronin said. She also focused on demographics within her program and the College of Allied Health and Nursing, meaning that there is more women than men in the program, and that's also a thing we need to talk about and why. Also, she focused on intersectionality, so such as being an international student. She was aware of what the audience was and what they needed. And then to finish it off, she focused on the retention and dropout rates. So I just think that's very important to take into consideration. And having worked with her before, her being a community advisor while I was a first-year student, she is a strong leader and is very dedicated to the work that she does.
Vice President Ogun Palabi.
I think they were all really good candidates, as you guys spoke, like Natalie, Annabelle, and one of the ones that stood out most to me. My only distinction was I did think Annabelle stood out a little more, just because even though she originally had focused just on nursing, that is her major, but she did, again, like later on broaden out to talk about all of allied health and nursing. But along with that, personally, she was the only one that I heard solutions from as to how to fix the issues with that. She talked about sitting down with the advisors and the faculty of the college and discussing ways that she thinks that they can be fixed, and then based off of that, having an open conversation with them to determine what is the best. So I think that for me, stood out most because that's kind of the work that we do. We are the ones that will be sitting down with people, that will be making those meetings, determining how we can help our students. So that's, to me, how she stood out. There's some other candidates, but they were all great candidates.
Senator O'Carroll. Am I saying that correct?
Yes.
Okay, good.
I believe they were all great candidates. Leanne and Annabelle were the two who stood out to me. I feel Leanne gave a lot of important points as to diversity and a lot of projects she liked to work on. But for me, I feel Annabelle stood out more as to giving more information about what are the issues within the college and the solutions she could possibly provide within college. And having a personal experience of having an advisor tell you or discourage you from pushing towards something you're interested in is like a big issue, because you actually need to stand your ground and think this is what I want to do. But not giving up, she actually went for another program within that college. And when we present the university, we do present the nursing program as one of the top programs for the university. Because working in the admissions office, I do create folders where we have to give this to new entering freshmen, transfer students, and also students who are in the military. These are the top majors that you do see there. So if you're not able to solve that issue, and if you have more people coming to this program, it's a big issue. And having her talk about the nursing program, which is the program that stands out among the top programs for the university, this is important. And also, if you do not have so much diversity and having a lot of students leaving because they're not able to get into the program, how do we then tackle the issues for the retention rate for the university? We do want the university, we want to have more students, and we want the university to strive. And we, just generally, I would return to working in the admissions office. I have been able to look at the goals set for the university as to how many undergraduates we want to have at this particular rate and how many students we want to retain. And I have stated that the retention rate is one that we're working on for the university. So I feel Annabelle really stood out for it.
Senator Mitchell.
For me, Leanna and Natalie both stood out to me, but I think what stood out the most about Leanna was her energy and her enthusiasm. She, by far, had the most energy out of any of the candidates that spoke today, by a long shot. And even when I've talked to her, just in passing, she always has that energy. And it's exhausting to be around it sometimes, but she always has it. And that really stood out to me, especially in comparison to everyone else that spoke today.
Senator Landis.
If I may, I'm going to play a little devil's advocate onto the last point, because we did have a candidate, Annabelle, who spoke on her greatest weakness being public speaking, and the fact that she didn't reach out to be on Senate before is because she was afraid, and she was challenging her own fears. So as far as personality-wise and being bubbly and energetic, yes, I think that's important, but it's hard to judge, I think, all the candidates' level of energy for getting stuff done just based on how well they perform on a stage in front of us.
Are there any further comments senators wish to make? Senator Roebuck?
Yes, so I just have two things that I just want to clarify. Not really regarding anybody in general, but one thing is that I think that, and I don't know if we already hit it too much or whatever, but they all covered what their major was, and they did all talk about their major pretty specifically. I don't think there was somebody that just talked about nursing, there was anybody that just talked about dietetics, or just talked about recreation, parks, and leisure. Yes, they hit on that because that's what their passion is, that's what their major is, but when I asked the question, I wanted to make sure that I heard from all of them what they would do for the college for a reason, and I did hear what they would want to do for the college, so that I was very impressed by that. So I want to make sure that it's known that they're obviously very passionate about that, or about their major, but they're passionate about the College of Allied Health and Nursing, all of them. Also, I want to hit on the diversity thing one more time. The reason why I brought up brought it up was that, yes, they all hit on diversity, but I tend to get tired of hearing that, yes, I love diversity. Diversity is so great, but like, what are you actually doing to include people and make an inclusive like environment and college, different things like that? And so I heard from Annabelle and Leanna about that. So that's why those two stood out for me, is because they actually brought up things. They didn't say that I love diversity, I want diversity. What are you going to do about it? That's what I want to hear, because that conversation, that sentence gets thrown out all the time. And so that I want to see people actually doing something about it. So, thank you.
Anyone else?
That's what this is for.
If no one else wishes to make any statements, I would just say if there's any dissent to closing the speakers list. Seeing no dissent, speaker list is not closed. You may refer to the board in back there for the names of the candidates, and again, raise the ballot above your head.
We have a 5-minute recess. No, so, come on, like during,
All right, I'm going to collect everyone's votes, and then as we are counting, we can step out and use the restroom, get a drink, so wish.